15 over his last 4 games. His average at 263.
Lindor will end that 0 for 15 with a base hit the other way.
Welcome, Baseball Extra fans, to a night that defied all expectations. We're talking about a game that started with a somber reflection on a day etched in history, September 11th, and ended with an explosion of pure, unadulterated Phillies baseball magic. If you thought you knew what comeback meant, think again. This wasn't just a win, it was a statement. Get ready, because we're diving deep into the electrifying atmosphere of Citizens Bank Park, where the Phillies pulled off a truly legendary sweep against their arch-rivals, the Mets. You won't want to miss a single pitch of this story. Hello, and welcome back to Baseball Extra. Tonight, we're reliving an absolutely unforgettable game from Citizens Bank Park, a game where the Philadelphia Phillies hosted their fierce rivals, the New York Mets, looking for a 4-game sweep on a truly significant date, September 11th. Before the first pitch was even thrown, the atmosphere was thick with emotion. We witnessed poignant pre-game ceremonies, honoring first responders and symbolizing the unity of all 50 states with flags proudly displayed on the field. Baseball, as it often does, played a vital role in connecting us all, especially on such a reflective evening. Now, let's talk about the Mets. Just a few months prior, in mid-June, they were boasting the best record in all of baseball. Think about that for a moment. From that high point, they had recently managed a dominant sweep against the Phillies themselves at Citi Field. But tonight, things felt different. You could almost feel the pressure mounting, the team looking over their shoulders, the whispers of "are we in danger of missing the playoffs?" hanging heavy in the air. For them, this game wasn't just another regular season matchup. It was a desperate battle for survival. Taking the mound for your Phillies was Jess Luzardo. Now, his first season here in Philadelphia has been a bit of a roller coaster, to say the least. But lately, he's been on an absolute tear, boasting a stellar 2.64 ERA over his last 8 starts. This guy has been nothing short of phenomenal. The Mets, meanwhile, were clearly struggling to find their offensive rhythm. We saw Francisco, a player capable of incredible moments, mired in a slump, going 0 for 15 over his previous 4 games. Tonight, however, he broke that cold streak, leading off with a base hit, finding a way to get on base. Then came Soto 1, batting a respectable 264 with 39 home runs and 95 RBIs. He followed Francisco with another single, setting the table early for New York. Just like that, in the blink of an eye, Soto extended his impressive on-base streak to 20 games. The stage was set for Pete Alonso, one of the premier run producers in all of baseball this year. Runners on first and second, nobody out, a prime scoring opportunity for the Mets. In a moment of attempted strategy, the runners took off, a throw from Romuto to third, but it sailed off Kemp's glove. A critical miscue. If he had corralled that, it could have been an out. But instead, everyone was safe, bases loaded, still nobody out. Then, in a crucial moment, Mazzo delivered a beautiful backdoor slider for strike 3, catching the outside corner, a huge K to calm the storm a little. Next up was Mark Vientos, who had only been 1 for 12 against Luzardo coming into this game. But with the infield drawn back, a ground ball would almost certainly score a run. And that's exactly what happened. Vientos smacked a base hit the other way, and Francisco trotted home. Soto, initially hesitating, advanced as Castellanos stunned the ball home. The Mets were on the board first with an RBI single from Mark Vientos. That felt like an enormous run for New York, a much-needed spark for a team desperate for offense. The momentum continued. Runners on the corners, and Brandon Nimmo stepped up. And Nimmo delivered. He banged a base hit into right field, making it 4 singles in the first inning for the Mets. It was now 2-0, with Soto scoring. Nimmo, known for loving the ball inside, capitalized on a mistake pitch. As a lefty-on-lefty matchup, a left-handed pitcher's biggest error is often leaving a pitch inside to a left-handed batter. And Luzardo paid the price. Starling Marte, a veteran with 14 seasons in the big leagues, then stepped to the plate. He unleashed a drive to left field that kept carrying, sending Marsh back. And it was over his head, off the wall. Vientos scored, Nimmo was waving his way around, and just like that, it was a ringing double from Starling Marte. A 4-run first inning for New York. 5 of the first 6 Mets batters had gotten hits off Luzardo. His location, frankly, had been completely off, and suddenly, the Phillies were staring at a 4-run deficit. Finally, Jeff McNeil hit into a comeback double play, allowing Luzardo to escape the inning. The Mets finished the first having scored 4 runs on 5 hits, a hugely productive start. David Peterson, the Mets pitcher, suddenly had 4 runs of support in his back pocket as he took the mound. Peterson had been struggling, with an ERA north of 7 in his last 6 starts, but that early lead must have been a huge confidence boost. He looked sharp, fouling one into Sanger's mitt for a strikeout, a good curveball finishing off Bader on the 9th pitch. He recorded back-to-back strikeouts to start the 3rd inning, truly finding his rhythm. He then faced Kyle Schwarber with the bases empty. Schwarber, who hadn't been looking like a guy who struggled in his last 5 games, hit a ground ball base hit to center field, a 2-out single. Bryce Harper, who had hit a home run the previous night, was up next. His season had been a bit more up and down than we usually expect from him, but still, in 850 ops is something most players would absolutely kill for. Schwarber took off on a 3-2 pitch, but Peterson delivered a beautiful curveball for a swing and a miss. 3 strikeouts in the inning for Peterson. The Phillies just couldn't get any runs across against him yet. Nick Castellanos, who had singled his first time up, then drew a rare walk, getting on base for the 2nd time. With a runner on first, Otto Kemp stepped up and lifted one deep to center field. McNeil went back, and that ball was gone. A towering home run, his 2nd of the series. The Phillies were finally on the board. That pitch, a rush breaking ball right down the middle, was an absolute mistake against a right-hander sitting on that spin. Citizens Bank Park erupted. Entering the bottom of the 5th inning, it was 4-2. Weston Wilson, the 9-hitter, opened the frame with a base hit the other way. Then Schwarber, who was 1 for 2 in the game, went down on strikes for Peterson's 7th K of the night. 2 outs in the 5th, but the Phillies were not out of the woods yet. Then came Bryce Harper. He fired one down the line, a fair ball. Wilson was on his horse, rounding 3rd and heading for the plate. Soto dug it out, but there was no throw. Wilson scored. Suddenly, it was a 1-run game, thanks to a huge 2-out double from Bryce Harper. Peterson tried the high fastball again, but Harper was ready. Peterson then delivered an absolute nightmare for a pitcher, a ball that just stayed right over the middle. He tried it again and managed to strike out Harper with another high fastball, his 8th strikeout of the game. But the Phillies had clawed their way back. They were within 1. As we headed to the bottom of the 6th inning, the Mets led the Phillies 4-3. It was time for a bullpen change, as David Peterson's night ended after 5 strong innings. Reed Garrett entered for the Mets, set to face Nick Castellanos, Otto Kemp, and Edmundo Sosa. Sosa hit a rocket to left center field, continuing his perfect night at the plate. He was thinking too, trying to get into scoring position, and he did with a headfirst dive for a double. Just like that, the tying run was at 2nd against the Mets bullpen. Then, Kemp hit one to center. McNeil initially started in, then went back, and it was over his head. He misplayed it. Castellanos raced home to tie the game. Jeff McNeil, who had done such a good job in center field for the Mets this year, despite it not being his natural position, made a costly misjudgment. His first 2 or 3 steps were in, and that proved to be the difference. A crucial error that shifted the momentum of this intense baseball game. Brandon Marsh stepped to the plate, and the Phillies were now looking for their first lead of the game. Garrett issued a 4-pitch walk, meaning 3 of the 4 batters he'd faced had reached. That brought up Harrison Bader, who had quickly become a fan favorite here in Philadelphia. And Bader did it again. He grounded one right through the infield. Harrison Bader, the Philadelphia legend, continued to grow, and the Phillies had gone from being down 4-0 to leading 5-4. No better deadline pickup than Harrison Bader, just like we all predicted, right? Brooks Raley came in as the new pitcher for the Mets as the Phillies took a 5-4 lead in the 6th inning. Kyle Schwarber stepped in to face Raley. On a 3-1 count, Schwarber took ball 4, and the bases were loaded for Bryce Harper. Harper was the 8th Philly to hit in this incredible 6th inning, and they were looking for even more. Harper hit a grounder to first. Alonso knocked it down, but it hopped away. Another run scored as Marsh crossed the plate, making it 6-4, Phillies. It wasn't a clean play, but a tremendous effort by Pete, sliding near the back of the infield dirt. But as he turned to make a throw, the ball just popped out of his glove, hit his body, and rolled into foul ground. A run came in for Philly, but credit to Alonso for the knockdown. Finally, a pop-up to the right side, and Pete Alonso gathered it for the out. The Phillies had completely turned this game around. After 6 innings, they had 6 runs. Who would have thought? after those 4 runs against Luzardo in the first inning that he would still be out there in the 8th. Luzardo was absolutely on fire. He had retired 20 straight batters. His 2-1 pitch was a big, bouncing ball to the left side. Sosa charged, made a tough play, scooping it up with all kinds of English on that slow bouncer, and fired it in time for the out. 21 up, 21 down, since the Phillies found themselves in that 4-0 deficit with 1 out in the first inning. What a performance. What a night for Jess Luzardo. 10 strikeouts and 22 straight batters retired, an absolutely legendary showing on the mound after a shaky start. Then, the right-hander Joan Duran came on to try to close it out. New York was trying to get their first win of the season when trailing after 8 innings in their 63rd try. Duran was simply unhittable. He struck out the first batter on 3 pitches, a blazing 102 miles per hour fastball to punctuate 3 different pitches in 3 different locations. 1 gone in the 9th. Then came Alonso. He missed it by a mile. There are good closers in this league, guys who throw hard, but I don't think I've seen swings from Mets hitters, even Alonso, that look so uncompetitive. It was as if Duran was throwing 110 miles an hour. The Mets were down to their last out, trying to keep their hopes alive. The final batter swung and missed, and there it was. The Phillies came back from a 4-0 deficit to complete the 4-game sweep over the Mets. Duran struck out the side in the 9th inning, sealing a very dispiriting 6th consecutive loss for the Mets. This one was particularly painful because they scored 4 runs in the first inning before the Phillies even came to the plate. To lose a game after such a dominant start, it's a tough pill to swallow. This wasn't just a win. It was a testament to resilience, a display of incredible teamwork, and a comeback for the ages. The Phillies, down early, found their stride and rode the incredible turnaround of Jess Luzardo and the clutch hitting from players like Kemp, Harper, and Bader to complete a memorable sweep against their rivals. This is the kind of Major League Baseball drama that keeps us coming back for more. What an incredible game, folks. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most exciting comebacks in recent memory, make sure to hit that like button, share this video with your fellow baseball fans, and of course, subscribe to Baseball Extra for more unforgettable moments, analysis, and everything you love about the game. We'll see you next time.